Morning, this is John Harder. I don't have the title and writing, but today I'm going to talk about the best things in life are free. Good morning, Romeo. Thanks for coming on. And thank you for waiting. My wife told me that you were already on here. You know, I had rented a vehicle this morning as I went to pick it up. Somebody else had rented it and didn't bring it back, so it wasn't there. The best things in life are free. You know, a person be very wealthy or very rich or whatever in earthly possessions, and yet be worried about losing, be worried about all kinds of things. And every time you worry about something, you are robbed of peace and freedom. You have your body might be in comfort, as it were, but your mind that is not at peace puts your body in torment as well. And get a good night's sleep when you're worried about things. You can't get a good night's sleep. You get weird dreams. You get, your is tense. There's no reaction. Most worries come from life not turning out the way you want it, and then worrying about it. But what is it really that is free? What do we get in life that is free? When a baby is born, that baby is at that time is enjoying life to the full, as it were. Now, of course, they are supposed to cry right away, which doesn't sound like joy, right? But let's get a little beyond that, because when a baby is born, it doesn't have a conscious mind. It only has a subconscious. The conscious develops as the baby, as we mature, as we grow in life, and our senses observe things. But isn't it priceless to have a conscience at ease? Isn't it priceless to be able to relax and just not be worried about anything? And when a person has that state of mind, you have something money cannot buy. We could say that the price is so high that money can't buy it, and really that is actually the truth, because let's say you you would decide, okay, I want to go and I want to rent the most expensive hotel room. One that is that basically people like Bill Gates or you know or people like that would rent. And you say, well, now in this case, sleep definitely isn't free. Well, if if that is what you truly enjoy, if that brings you fulfillment to rent that kind of a place, and that brings you happiness, and you're at peace, great, that's awesome. But the a good night's sleep, you could get that living on the road, living on the streets, as long as you are as your conscience and your mind is at peace, and you can lay your body down comfortable enough, and you're not worried about anything. You can have a night's sleep just as that would be worth equivalent to that of in the most expensive hotel room. Well, those are rather maybe shallow comparisons. But what is really free in life? See, all of all of the elements that we need to survive, that we need to, we could even say thrive, if we want to make application to that word. And maybe I will a little bit later on. For now, well, all I want to do is lay the groundwork a little bit for the things that we do get free in life, that 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 are necessary, and that we that are available to us for free. See, humanity has what is called evolved. With this evolution, there are certain people who have taken the initiative of taking advantage of the necessities of humanity, of the things that people need in order to survive. And uh, those of us who are in this world in this time, we have been born into this world where we are built for everything, and we see that as completely natural. We don't know life any other way. And I have talked with people about that scenario. And to me, I have, to me, that's always been sort of ever since I was a kid, this idea of that you have to have money, or you can't even buy food. You have to have money, or in order to get the necessities in life. All right. Uh, but in the back of my mind, there was always this thing that somebody started this. That somebody somehow started that, because Earth doesn't charge you for uh, you know when you want to plant a a tree or a seed for something. Earth doesn't say, well, there's a hole here where you first have to put money in, and then I'll allow you to make a little hole over there where you want your seed. Earth does not charge you. Nature does not charge you for anything. Why are we paying somebody else for the things that we need? The best things in life are free. Best things in life are free. Humanity has gotten so used to to being manipulated and having to trade sweat uh, for for the necessities of life, that they think that that is completely natural. They think that that is necessary to be able to thrive and get along and this and that. But ask yourself that question: is it? Is it really? Well, are we going to challenge that, or how would we approach it now, right? Well, you know, if we want to go back, we see people who live in such a way that like they refuse to come on board with modern technology. They refuse to come on board with modern way of doing things. For instance, plowing with horses, plowing the fields with horses, as opposed to adapting to the wonderful technology of tractors. Uh, we've been using tractors in fields for what, since the 40s or 30s or something, maybe even before that, when steam engines were invented. And here we are, um, about 100 or more years later, and we still have people who refuse to come on board of this newer way of living. Everything is still by hand or horses or whatever. But one thing that you notice, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far back and what age you want to live. In order to survive here and today, you've got to use the monetary system that's available to you. Like if these people would refuse to use today's money, and they wanted to they wanted to remain whatever money or whatever way of trading was used back then. Like, let's say they refused to use any monetary system. Well, they'd have to trade with ducks. Well, good luck with that. You go to buy some seeds at the wherever at the seed supplier or whatever, and you bring you come there with a couple of ducks or a calf or something. You say, well, I want seeds. I brought money, or well, obviously that'd be total nonsense. So they can't really stay back in all aspects. My point about this scenario is that if we want to survive, and we want to thrive and get along in society, we've got to do some extent of adapting to newer ways. Well, I've been talking some people about cryptocurrency, and I there are many people that are not willing to let go of it. It's just very they're still rooted very deep with that idea, and you know we can't really go and push people, right? It doesn't usually work all that well. But the time is coming, and it's getting here probably a lot faster than many people are willing to adapt to, where it's just going to be cryptocurrency. It's not going to be anything else. It's going to be digital money. It usually happens for people who see an advantage early, that make very, very large amounts of money on the edge of a new technology. Very often the same, the early people are also ones that are apt to lose a lot. It all depends on your mind. It all depends on your thinking. It all depends on what you are building inside, whether you are confident, moving ahead with confidence and adapting to the newer ways, and don't just rush out blindly, having no idea, taking all kinds of chances with your hard-earned money, and so on. And now I know that many people they are overly cautious, and they're almost mentally paralyzed when it comes to using any bit of money to try something new, as if somehow it is a sin to make any kind of adventure with money. Um, and that idea comes from the subconscious belief that money is an evil thing, that money is evil. There's something evil about money. There is something uh, uh, there's a verse in the Bible that says that the love of money is the root of all evil. And I think that phrase is hugely misunderstood by almost all people who read it. Now, how would we interpret that? How would we interpret that? See, the love of money, if the love of money is the root of all evil, then what would we be talking about? Let's consider for a bit where that verse comes from. There are always some people who have extraordinary insight as to how things work. Ever since the Federal Reserve was created, there were people who had the insight as to what was going on with the banking system. They wrote books. They warned people. They said, here, this is, you're going to be enslaved. This is an enslavement system. Nobody listened, hardly. There's very, very few people that bought those books and read those books to see what actually are we headed for. But these people had the insight, in their books. They basically explain to you that the love of money is the root of all evil. What is it? What is it, the system that has enslaved us? What kind of a system is it? How did that system ever emerge? Is those were lovers of money. They were lovers of money that went and what did the verse say? It says, the love of money is the root of all evil. The people who are behind the banking cartels, though they have this love for money because money gives them power. All of those wars, all of the massive enslavement that humanity has become on a global scale is all because of the love of money. So it is no wonder. Like we look at cartels like in Mexico. In Mexico, Mexico, the government doesn't have as much power as the drug cartels do. I don't know if you were aware of that, but that is basically how Mexico runs. When the Mexican government actually when there's something that they can't handle, they actually will hire the biggest drug cartel that is there to look after that situation, because that they have way more power. So how does that fall into or integrate into our lives? Do we or should we in any way have a belief deep within us that we need to be careful that we don't get too much money, or we need to be very careful how we use money, because money is, after all, the root of all evil, or the love of money, even if we want to say that. There's you very easily hear people that they don't even use the first part of that verse, that the love of money. They just simply say that money is the root of all evil. All of the evil in the world is surrounding money. It always has to do with money. What is the most of the evil that is happening with money? There's another area where we could go, and that is, people are in prison. Many people are in prison for life because of the love of money. Not because they did something wrong. They're not in prison necessarily because they did anything wrong. But they're in prison because somebody else did something wrong. Because somebody else had the love of money and put people in prison. Let me ask you a question. How many of the people that are actually in the prisons would you estimate that actually should have ever gone to prison? You see, I believe that it would be less than 1%. It would be less than 1% of the people that are in prison that actually should have ever gone to prison. If the right people were in prison, it would be the banking cartels. By the way, did you know that the drug cartels, all of this drug going on in Colombia, in Mexico, all of those cartels, did you know that they are only the ground, how should we say, they are only the ground troops, as it were, for the banking cartel? Were you aware of that? Did you know that the Rothschilds are also behind all that? Yeah, yeah. If you want to clean up the drug cartels, then clean up the banking cartel. And the drug cartel, that'll all fall apart because it's run by the banking cartels. These are the people that we have allowed to handle or to dominate our monetary systems globally. Now, the best things in life are free. What are they? What are they? So far, the picture that I've been painting is basically been about the freedom that, or the tools that have been used by manipulators to take away freedom from us, from the general population. But the best things in life are free. And let me just tell you this. It is not possible that the best thing can be taken from you. The very best thing that you have, nobody can take from you. Not with guns, not with knives, not with any kind of force. It cannot be taken from you. If you do give it up, it is because you voluntarily gave it up. And that is your belief. It's your belief. It is the way you think, your thinking, your belief system. Many, many people have died because of what they believed. There were times in the past, and actually it's still going on today, because people believe in Christianity. They believe the Bible's teaching about the Savior. They believe that that Jesus was a living person, and he has come and saved them. They believe that. And there are people who live against that. They believe that it's that they need to be aggressive towards people who believe that. And most people who have this faith or this belief, they are non-aggressive, because the Bible teaches non-aggression. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, well, John, what do you believe? I will just tell you this, that my beliefs have really, really changed since I began studying of how the human mind works. You see, I was experiencing some serious health problems back in 2009, and because my body reacted to the drugs that the doctors were trying on me, I very quickly realized that they know nothing more about my symptoms than I did. because all they were able to do is try this drug or then try that drug. Well, like, come on, you don't know? You mean you have no idea? And seriously, they didn't. And so that was when I stopped. That was when I stopped all going to the doctors. That was it. From there on out, I decided that, you know what, I have to find out myself what it is. And as I began digging, I found out that it was mental stress that was the cause of every symptom I had. Matter of fact, mental stress is the cause of any symptom a person can possibly have. And so that is when my journey began to study how the mind works. And I have learned what happens when we think, what happens when we say, what happens. Folks, you have far more power than you might think you do. And my biggest message to you is that don't disempower yourself by thinking and saying the wrong things. Your belief is the most powerful thing that you have in life. And the reason you have a belief, the reason that you believe the things that you do, is because that is what you have with your conscious mind concluded to be true. But let me ask you this. The things that you have concluded to be true, are they? Are they really true? You see, I have had to change my beliefs in many areas in life because I realized what I had been taught was by far not the truth. And let me also, while I'm talking about this, let me also tell you right now, especially, I'm talking to those of you who use the Bible as a guidance. I am not telling you that the Bible is a bad book. Matter of fact, there's much that I use and that is in the Bible. Because the Bible has been put together of ancient books, well, especially the Old Testament, has been put together of ancient writings that people who understood life, who understood many things, and they wrote them. Some of those books, they call them prophecies. Other books, they are basically for, for informatory purposes, if that's correctly said, but for information. And those are books. Very much of that is very, very useful information to use in today's lives, to use in our lives, to practice literally in life. But when the Bible was put into book form as we have it, back when King James was the King of England, who had it put into book form, all of these old scripts. But many of the scripts were eliminated, were actually not put in. Many of the sayings that had been said were not put in. Much editing was done to eliminate a lot and also to add a lot. This was done because the people, I'm just going to say it very plain and simple here. The Rothschild bloodline of people that had basic control already back then in the of the monetary systems and all of the and the legal systems. And in a different video, I'm going to go much more into detail as to how land and law and all of that was controlled and how that fits into the monetary system. Okay, but I'm not going to go into that here. But the people who had control of all of these things, they saw that if they put a book together that that puts people in a position where they believe, instead of believing in themselves, that they then believe in a God outside of them, up somewhere up in the sky, that that will disconnect them from nature. It will disconnect them from the natural resources, as it were, of nature. And as a result, they did the editing to make the Bible sound confusing enough that most people totally fall for it and believe in some power that is outside of themselves. Am I saying that that power does not exist outside of ourselves? Yes. Sorry, no, that is not what I'm saying. I am saying that power does exist, but it doesn't exist any more outside of us than it does within us. We are all part of the same nature. You know, there's a saying that says, it's actually an old Hindu saying, a phrase that says, all is one and one is all. Everything is one. There is only one source for everything that exists. You know, and we as people possess the entire scope. We are spirit. We are also matter. Matter and spirit are one. There isn't two. There is only one. The Lord your God is one God. There is only one. Spirit is the highest degree of matter. Matter is the lowest degree of spirit. There is a phrase that says, all power has been given unto me. Go ye therefore. Of course, there is more in front of it and more behind it. But the basic point is that we understand that all power is given unto me. Go ye therefore. Let's elaborate on that just a little bit here, because all power is given unto me, which is the spirit. The spiritual part of me is the one connection with one God, with one power, one existence. That is unlimited power. And then go ye therefore. Who are these? Who are ye? Who is it? Who is goes therefore? Who? All of your thoughts. All of the thoughts that you generate, you are making disciples. You are constantly making disciples as you put your thoughts into action. As you think, you are making disciples. You are sending your thoughts out as disciples to go out and harvest and bring back the grain, bring back the sheaves, bring back the experiences that you are looking for in life? The best things in life are free, and that is your thinking. It's free. It's free. And that power, the power of your thinking, can set you free in every area of your life. But there's a few things that we must let go of in order to actually utilize the power that we have. We must stop saying, I can't. And we must stop, completely stop thinking any negative things about other people. When you walk past people and you hear them talking, and maybe they're talking about something very negative or whatever, maybe they're whatever, maybe they're even somebody saying something to you, and giving you the picture of that you can't or whatever. Very often, I think, even also, we just make a judgment of people just by the way they look. We make a conclusion of what we think of them and whatever. Let's be very, very careful, because what you think about others, you are creating in your own life. Remember, all of your thoughts that you generate, you are sending out disciples that are going out there to harvest, and they're bringing back what you're sending them out for. Okay? So whenever a person, even if they say something, very negative to you or whatever, the best thing that you can do is bless them. Bless them in your heart, even if you don't say anything. Bless them in your heart and wish them truly all the best from the bottom of your heart. Truly wish them all the best in life, because that is what you want in your life. If somebody has mistreated you, maybe when you were a kid or anywhere in life, doesn't really matter, but I'm talking about, well, I'll say this. You see, I was abused as a kid. I endured very much abuse, and this has taken me very many years to lay that to rest, because things that we experience as a kid remains very vivid in life, and it shapes very much of our thinking. But trust me when I tell you, you will receive peace in your heart when you truly forgive. And how do you know if you have completely forgiven? When those things are mentioned, or that person is mentioned, when that comes across your mind, somebody saying it or whatever, and you feel absolutely no sting, you feel relaxed, you feel completely forgiving, you feel at ease, that's when you can be confident that you have completely forgiven. Because as long as you feel a sting, your subconscious mind is playing havoc with you. See, here is something that I think is very important that we understand about our mind. Your conscious mind makes all the decisions, but has no power to fulfill anything. Your subconscious mind makes absolutely no decisions and has all the power to fulfill everything. Okay? That's what we need to understand. We need to understand that, because otherwise you can't fully trust your subconscious mind. You need to know where does everything come from into my life? Where does it come from? Well, it comes from your subconscious mind, and it's because of what you have been feeding it. That's where it comes from. So why are we talking about God and the power out there and the subconscious mind and things like that? Well, here's the thing. When you were born, when I was born, when everybody, when at our birth or at conception, likely would probably be much more uh, true. We are instantly encoded in the entire universe with our own DNA. Our DNA isn't just in the body. It's not just in the body. It's encoded in your blood, in your tissue, the body, everywhere. It's also encoded in the entire universe. There is no place you can go where your DNA does not exist. There's a verse in the Bible that says, it says something about, maybe some of you know it better than I do of the right now, but it says something about, behold, if I make my bed in hell, thou art there. You know, if I go up into the heaven, I forget now what exactly. I need to read it again so I remember it. But it talks about, doesn't matter where you go, there is God. God is your spiritual DNA out in the entire universe. One is all, and all is one. Let's talk about TBC for a little bit yet. Because the best things in life are free. That was my title for today. The best things in life are free. I have a tremendous passion for helping people. And I actually, it has taken me many years to realize that passion, that I had such a passion for helping people. Maybe I had it all the time and just didn't know it. Maybe it's only lately where I really realized it. But let me tell you, when I first got involved with TBC, and I had, I realized that that TBC was, I could. This was a real opportunity as far as that goes, right? Well, when the Cookie Rewards program came along, and I had bought some TBC, and I realized that this is far, far more than I have ever, than I had ever anticipated that it was going to be. And maybe that's how it was with most of you. but that's when I began thinking, what will I do with that much money? What will I do? And after a bit of thinking, things started emerging. Ideas started emerging. I can do this. Not for myself. It doesn't mean I don't want a nice thing. Some nice things for myself. But the ideas that came forth were like helping humanity in so many ways. There we can help humanity so much. And that is when I really started seeing, what, this is really something. We can really go places with this. And that's when it became even all the more meaningful to me. Heaping out, excuse me, having this huge pile of money for myself did not seem logical. It didn't seem to have meaning. You know, there were 16 years in my life, in my during my 20s to, you know, there were 16 years where I lived alone, and I hardly ever cooked. I hardly ever cooked a meal. You know, I not that I don't like cooking or anything, but every time I wanted to cook a meal, or it was just this idea that just for me, cooking a meal for just myself, that did not make any sense. Like, I need people here to enjoy it with me. I need, you know, and so I just wouldn't cook. I would just have cereal or whatever, just some toast, or just go out and buy something. It just cooking, that didn't make sense to me when it was just for myself. But the point here is that when there is so much we can do for people, and we can see about how much we can lift people out of misery, which is what TBC was made for. It's exactly what TBC was made for. And so we can develop such a passion, especially when we begin to see how much we can do for people, right? And we can enjoy TBC with them. You know, the best meal, the best way to enjoy a nice meal is when you are enjoying it with a table full of people who are all enjoying it together. That is, for me at least, that's just, that just beats it by far. And that is how this goes as well. Now, for those of you who have been watching this video and aren't into TBC yet, let me invite you. Check it out. Check it out. I have the links below this video. You can check out what TBC is all about. Free.energy is there as well. I haven't talked about the energy itself much today because I kind of wanted to elaborate on that title because I think there is so much misunderstanding as to what life is even really about. And it isn't just about barely surviving. It isn't about hogging for ourselves everything we can. It's not what it's about. That's not where joy is. That's not where the best things in life are. The best things in life are relationships with other people, are enjoying doing things together, enjoying helping each other out. And I mean, love, even just the word love, it is such a powerful word that is probably, well, it's the original. Love is the original. That's actually energy in its energy where it's without form. In science we call it energy. That is, it's everywhere. It penetrates. It's in and through everything. It's all energy, but it's in its invisible form. It is, and the spiritual word for it is love. The Bible in John tells us that love is first pure. Love is first pure. Love, before it enters your mind, it is pure. It hasn't been put into any shape. It hasn't put into any form. It is pure. It hasn't been diverted into any hatred or anything negative, nor is it positive. It enters your mind first pure. You then, with your thinking, you are turning it into something positive or something negative or whatever goes on in your mind. You are turning it into something else where it becomes a shape or becomes a feeling. It becomes a form of some sort. It it becomes something where it will hurt somebody else. It becomes something where it will help somebody else. It will create feelings within you that have in your vortex will create a feeling that others can feel, a love when they come near you, or they will feel a sense of a coldness when they come near you. Whatever you turn it into is what you're sending out, and that is what it will bring back. Now, for those of you who are watching this uh, video who are in TBC and you would like help with migrating, you would like to know, how to go about some of those things, or you would like more TBC that you would like to purchase, I have I have the links in the description. Also, you can contact me. You can do it through my website or just email me. It's all there. Okay. All right. So again, um, in the next few broadcasts, I want to talk more about a platform that I have been talking about before. And I want to do a proposal, a sort of a presentation, which is going to come in the form of a blog post, which I'm going to ask those who are interested to read, and then I would like comments on that. If for those of you who are interested in understanding and knowing what I'm talking about and how that will help us further TBC and to make it more integratable into the common marketplace. Okay. All right. So with that said, I guess my hangout is at least 30 minutes here, and so let's just see who is all here. I almost forgot that. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Romina. I acknowledged you before, but if you're still here, I very much appreciate you hanging out this long. It couldn't have been too bad, I guess. Hopefully. All right. Marjorie Harder, thank you as well. And then we had Iba. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Yeah, Ibaiti or something. Thank you very much for hanging out with me as well. And Marjorie Harder, Romeo, and Stephen Coffey, thank you as well. Thank you very much. And Mahalko, 88 as well. Thank you very much also for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And we got Hani. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but thank you also very much for hanging out with me here. I appreciate every one of you guys. It's a pleasure to have you with me this morning. All right, I won't be on tonight. Tomorrow I might do 2 of them. I hope I won't be too busy, but I'm beginning to be quite busy, and so I might have to drop my evening broadcast. But if it works out for me, I'll still do 2 of them tomorrow. We'll see how it goes from there. Yeah, I already. Yeah, I acknowledged her already, or him. I don't know. This is an awesome, incredible knowledge. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. And so